There is a single decision, one quiet internal shift, that can reshape how the world reads your presence. Not through arrogance, not through chest-puffed dominance, but through an inner steadiness that radiates. I am anchored in who I am. Most people drift through life chasing approval like a currency they can never quite earn enough of. They shrink themselves to fit into rooms they've long since outgrown. They negotiate their worth like something that could be bargained down. But the moment you stop searching outward for proof of your value and start honoring yourself from within, everything, and I mean everything, begins to reorganize around that truth. Just one act, even done once, can shift how people perceive you. They'll recognize it instantly, not because you announce it, but because energy never lies. You train the world in how to treat you by the way you respond to yourself. So let's break down the shift piece by piece. What to do, how to do it, and what it unlocks. Star number 1. Withdraw undeserved access. There comes a point in your life where you are confronted with a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Your time, your focus, your emotional presence, these are sacred resources. Not everyone deserves them. Not everyone has earned them. Not everyone should have access to you. Yet so many people fall into the trap of believing that limitless availability equals love, equals approval, equals recognition. They bend, contort, overextend, hoping that by pouring themselves out endlessly, they'll finally be valued. But it never works like that. In fact, the opposite happens. The more freely you hand over your energy to people who haven't honored it, the faster they begin to devalue you. It's not cruelty, it's human nature. Anything received without effort is often treated without appreciation. Every time you go above and beyond for someone who offers inconsistency, every time you show up for someone who shows disregard, every time you carry emotional weight for someone who treats it lightly, you are silently teaching them the rules of engagement. You communicate that your boundaries are optional, that your time can be discounted, that your presence is cheap. But the moment you decide to pull back your access without bitterness, without theatrics, without seeking anyone's approval for the decision, you begin reclaiming your power. People feel the absence of what they once took for granted. The phone calls you used to answer immediately now go unnoticed. The favors you once did reflexively are now declined. The emotional responsibility you carried for others is released back to its rightful owners. And something remarkable happens. The second you stop showing up for those who never genuinely showed up for you, you begin drawing in people who do respect your presence, who recognize your value without needing to be reminded. Why? Because silence communicates clarity more loudly than arguments ever could. You stop begging to be understood. You stop competing for someone's loyalty. You stop investing in connections that only drain you. You become unavailable to manipulation, to chaos, to half-hearted efforts dressed up as commitment. You choose peace. You choose alignment. You choose to pour into the people who see you, the real you, without prompting. And this shift doesn't begin externally. It's an inner rearrangement. You must believe you are enough even when you aren't overgiving. You must believe your presence holds weight even when you aren't constantly performing. It takes courage to step back, to stop making excuses for inconsistency, to stop carrying relationships on your back while the other person drags their feet. And yes, when you withdraw access, some people will react. They'll accuse you of changing. They'll claim you've become cold or distant. Let them speak. Those who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always be uncomfortable when you start enforcing them. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your peace is. If someone truly feared losing you, they would have acted like it long before you walked away. So let them feel the silence they once filled with their inconsistency. Let them sit with the space where your loyalty used to cushion their behavior. You owe them no explanation, no announcement, no dramatic exit. Your energy speaks the truth now. From this moment forward, your availability is earned, not assumed. Your time is precious, not endlessly negotiable. Your heart is sacred, not a playground for indecisive people. Withdraw your access from those who only remember you when they need something. From those who thrive on chaos, yet offer no stability. From those who applaud you when you're quiet but disappear when you speak your truth. Pour your energy back into yourself. Protect your schedule, your peace, your emotional space like the priceless investment it is. And watch how the world rearranges itself when you stop begging to be chosen. And choose yourself. Because once you leave the rooms where love is conditional, where support is performative, where your value is only acknowledged when convenient, you'll find yourself at tables where your presence isn't just accepted, it's honored. You're not cold. You're clear. You're not distant. You're discerning. You're not selfish. You're finally self-aware. This right here is how the world learns to treat you. Star number 2, speak less, observe more. There is a rare kind of power, quiet, steady, unshakable, that belongs only to those who have learned the art of restraint. The kind of power that isn't loud, isn't boastful, isn't chasing attention, but is instantly felt the moment such a person walks into a room. In a world overflowing with noise, where everyone is racing to respond, to prove their intelligence, to declare their opinions before they've even formed them, there is a distinct strength in the one who doesn't rush to speak. Not because they are weak, but because they are aware. Not because they are timid, but because they are composed. When you speak less, you stop responding from raw emotion and begin responding from grounded wisdom. You start to sense the undercurrents beneath every interaction, the tone hidden behind someone's words, the intention beneath their friendliness, the energy behind their actions. You begin hearing the silence between the lines. You start noticing what people don't say. Your perception sharpens. Your intuition awakens. Your awareness becomes a tool that cuts through illusions like a blade. You start noticing the nervous flicker in someone's eyes when they lie. The subtle deflection when the truth gets too close. The way their consistency fades the moment they think they've secured your loyalty. When you stop rushing to fill silence, you create space, and in that space, people reveal themselves without realizing it. Because while most people can control their words, their energy still speaks the truth. But the majority miss these signals because they're too busy performing. Too busy trying to be liked. Too busy proving they belong. Too busy forcing connections that were never aligned in the first place. However, when you slow down, when you speak less and observe more, the fog clears. And suddenly, you see everything you once overlooked. You realize how much unnecessary noise you tolerated. How often someone's actions contradicted their promises. How many red flags you excused because you were busy explaining yourself instead of watching their behavior. And once you see clearly, something powerful happens. You no longer feel compelled to chase anyone. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need long explanations for your boundaries. You don't need to defend your silence. You simply watch and make quiet decisions. That's where your true power lies. Because while others waste their energy trying to impress, you're reading the room. While others speak to be seen, you're understanding everything they don't realize they're revealing. The ones who talk excessively often leak their fears. The ones who over-explain typically carry insecurity. The ones who can't sit in silence are often people who fear what silence reveals about themselves. But when you speak less, you conserve your power. You listen with intention. You choose your words with precision. Your sentences become deliberate instead of desperate. And people notice. They lean in. They respect the weight of your silence because it forces them to confront their own noise. You become mysterious in a world addicted to oversharing. You become rare in a culture where everyone is shouting to be heard. And mystery, real mystery, creates magnetism. When you speak less, you stop giving people access to your emotional triggers. You stop giving them the blueprint to manipulate you. You become unreadable in the most powerful way. Not unpredictable, but unshakable. You smile. You nod. You remain calm. But internally, you're 3 steps ahead, catching every subtle shift, every inconsistency, every hidden motive. And here's the truth. The less you say, the more you hear. The more you hear, the more you understand. And the more you understand, the harder it becomes for anyone to deceive you. Observation becomes your armor. Awareness becomes your shield. Silence becomes your strategy. It helps you discern authenticity from flattery. It helps you sense betrayal long before it arrives. It protects you from wasted effort, wasted emotion, and wasted years. But to live like this, you must trust yourself deeply. You must be willing to be misunderstood without feeling the need to correct every misconception. You must accept that silence is not weakness, it is discipline. Observation is not passivity, it is intelligence. When you master the pause, you master your life. When you stop reacting instantly, you begin responding intentionally. You know when to speak and when to walk away. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent. It's understanding that not every battle deserves your energy. Not every insult deserves your response. Not every situation deserves your presence. The less you speak, the more selective you become. You start valuing your peace over your pride. You start choosing clarity over chaos. You start reserving your voice for moments that truly matter. So from this moment forward, slow down. Listen more. Let others reveal themselves while you remain centered and observant. Let your awareness be quiet but sharp. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your presence carry the storm they never saw coming. Speak less. Observe more. And watch how the world reshapes itself when you no longer hand out your energy carelessly. Star number 3, respect yourself in private first. Before the world can ever respect you, before any person can honor your presence, value your voice, or take your boundaries seriously, you must first respect yourself in the places no one else will ever see. True self-respect begins in solitude, in the quiet, unfiltered moments where there is no audience, no applause, no validation, no eyes watching to keep you accountable. It begins when the world is silent and only your inner voice is left. Because the most powerful transformation you will ever undergo does not happen in public. It happens in the moments when you're alone with your thoughts, staring at the mirror, choosing who you believe you are even when nothing around you is affirming it. Self-respect is not earned externally. It is cultivated internally. It's in the way you rise each morning and choose discipline over distraction. It's in the way you talk to yourself when you stumble or fall. It's in the way you rebuild yourself after every disappointment, every setback, every failure. Do you tear yourself apart with criticism? Or do you lift yourself back up with compassion? Do you abandon yourself the moment things get uncomfortable? Or do you stay loyal to your own growth, even when it demands discomfort? Because whether you realize it or not, you are constantly broadcasting your internal worth, even in silence. People feel it. People sense it. People respond to it. If you carry quiet confidence grounded not in arrogance but in deep self-awareness, the world picks up on that vibration. If you carry insecurity, doubt, or secret self-neglect, that energy leaks too, and others treat you according to the script you've written for yourself. This is the truth most people avoid. You are always teaching the world how to treat you, even when you're alone. Respecting yourself in private means setting standards for your mind, your habits, your decisions, your inner dialogue, even when no one is watching, even when no one would ever know if you slipped. It means choosing growth over comfort, healing over avoidance, discipline over excuses, integrity over convenience. It means waking up early to pursue what matters, not for recognition, but because you promised yourself you would. It means walking away from anything or anyone that disturbs your inner peace, not to prove a point but to honor your soul. It means being kind to yourself when you fail, being patient with yourself while you learn, being honest with yourself about your habits, your patterns, and your potential. Because your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. Too many people chase validation, hoping that if they're praised enough, liked enough, applauded enough, followed enough, they will finally feel worthy. It never works. Not ever. No amount of compliments can compensate for the voice inside you saying, "I'm not enough." No number of followers can heal private self-doubt. No external spotlight can illuminate the parts of you you've abandoned in the dark. You don't need more approval. You need more self-trust. You don't need more encouragement. You need to believe in yourself with conviction, even when you stand alone. Because the kind of self-respect that moves mountains is not loud or performative. It's quiet. It's internal. It is the unwavering sense that you deserve alignment, peace, and purpose, without needing to earn it through suffering. And when you respect yourself at that level, everything changes. Your boundaries gain authority. Your standards rise effortlessly. Your energy becomes cleaner. Your presence becomes stronger. Your decisions become sharper. People who once took advantage of you will feel the shift. They'll either rise to meet you or naturally fade away. Both outcomes are victories. Because the moment you begin honoring yourself behind the scenes, your entire life begins reorganizing itself. You stop settling. You stop explaining. You stop begging for understanding. You stop tolerating anything or anyone that pulls you out of alignment. Instead, you start building your peace, your purpose, your power. Each small act of self-respect in private adds a layer to the foundation of your worth. And over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. So let the world misinterpret you. Let them question your solitude, your standards, your silence. You don't owe anyone a translation of your growth. Just keep showing up for yourself, consistently, quietly, relentlessly. Keep making the difficult choices no one sees. Keep nurturing the life you deserve in the unseen hours. Because the person who respects themselves in private eventually becomes someone the world can't help but respect in public. Your self-respect is a seed. Plant it deep. Water it daily. Guard it fiercely. And watch your entire life bloom without seeking a single ounce of outside validation. Your worth was never meant to be debated. Your value was never meant to be proven. It was meant to be lived, privately first, publicly second. This is where true power begins. Star number 4. Set the standard and never lower it. There is an invisible agreement between you and the world, a silent contract that you sign without speaking a word. That contract is your standard. Not the standard you talk about. Not the standard you wish you lived by. But the standard you consistently embody, even when no one is around to watch. Every relationship you attract, every opportunity you entertain, every dynamic you participate in, all of them are shaped by this internal standard. It's the filter through which your life unfolds. Because whether you realize it or not, you teach people how to treat you not through your words, but through what you tolerate, what you reinforce, and what you expect. And if your standard is low, life mirrors it back with painful clarity. But the exact moment, you raise that bar and decide that you are no longer available for anything beneath your worth, your entire reality begins to shift. This isn't about perfection. It isn't about superiority. And it absolutely isn't about being better than anyone else. This is about alignment. It's about honoring your value. It's about refusing to shrink just to make others comfortable. Because every time you lower your standard to accommodate someone else's comfort zone, every time you bend yourself to fit a space that was never built for your growth, you send a message to them and to yourself that your worth is adjustable. And once someone learns that your worth is negotiable, they will test it again and again until you forget who you are and why you deserved more in the first place. But when your standard is rooted in clarity and self-respect, everything changes. People rise to meet you or they fall away. And both outcomes serve your growth. Because your standard isn't just about what you want. It's about what you refuse to allow. It dictates the quality of your relationships. It shapes the depth of your conversations. It influences the direction of your destiny. It determines whether you spend your life in peace or in perpetual emotional turmoil. A high standard creates a high-quality life. A low standard creates chaos. And here's the truth. High standards will make you rare. They will make you misunderstood. Some people will say you're too much, not because you are, but because they have never stretched themselves to that level. That is not your burden to carry. You were never meant to be convenient. You were meant to be consistent with your calling. So stop apologizing for expecting respect. Stop shrinking your expectations to make others more comfortable. Stop accepting crumbs when you deserve the entire table. Because the people meant for you will never ask you to compromise your worth to keep them. They will be inspired by your standard, not intimidated by it. But here's the part most people miss. Once you set the standard, you must protect it with absolute conviction. Do not lower it just because you feel lonely. Do not bend it under pressure. Do not abandon it out of fear of being misunderstood. Do not justify mediocrity because you're afraid of being alone for a season. Stand firm. Stand tall. Stand inside the truth of who you are. Every time you uphold your standard, your confidence strengthens. Every time you compromise it, your foundation cracks. Your standard is your compass, the thing that keeps you aligned when life tries to pull you off course. It helps you say no when the wrong thing looks temporarily right. It gives you the strength to walk away without resentment, without fear, without self-doubt. Setting the standard does not mean you figured everything out. It simply means you've decided that you are done settling. Done tolerating emotional chaos disguised as love. Done allowing anyone to make you feel small. Done making excuses for people who don't put in effort. Done accepting energy that drains instead of nourishes. Because your life will always rise or fall to the level of the standard you set. So set it high. Set it intentionally. Set it with courage and with clarity. And then defend it like your peace depends on it. Because it does. People will test your boundaries. They will challenge your expectations. Some will push to see if you'll bend. Do not flinch. Let your boundaries be made of stone, not sand. Let your values be unshakable, not seasonal. Let your actions speak your standards so loudly that you never have to explain it. The people meant to walk with you will elevate themselves to match it. Those who cannot will fade into the background where they were always meant to be. You are not here to beg for alignment. You are here to embody it. Set the standard. Raise the bar. And don't lower it, even if you must walk alone for a while. Because that solitary path leads to destinations compromise could never take you. Your peace lives at the level of your standard. Your power begins the moment you decide that you will accept nothing less than what honors your worth. Star number 5. Walk away without drama. There comes a moment in your life where your peace becomes more valuable than proving your point. More valuable than being understood. More valuable than winning an argument, convincing someone of your worth, or forcing a connection that no longer feeds your soul. That moment is when you learn the power of walking away without drama. Because real strength is not loud. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it doesn't plead for closure. Real strength is silent, calm, grounded, certain. It's the kind of strength that comes from knowing who you are, what you deserve, and what you will no longer participate in regardless of how anyone else feels about it. Walking away quietly is not weakness. It is mastery. It means you've outgrown the need to explain your worth. You've outgrown the chaos that once entertained you. You've outgrown the battles that drain you more than they grow you. Most people leave with noise, slamming doors, angry words, dramatic exits, emotional explosions. Not because they're strong, but because they're still tied to the situation. Still seeking validation. Still hoping to be heard, or seen, or chosen. But when you walk away without theatrics, you're sending a different message. Not to them, but to yourself. I don't need this to define me. I don't need your approval to move forward. My peace matters more than your perception. Drama is the language of insecurity. Silence is the language of self-respect. And the truth is this. People who wanted to keep you small will always call your calmness cold. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always call your distance selfish. People who took your kindness for granted will always call your silence disrespect. Let them talk. Let them project. Let them tell whatever story helps them sleep at night. You're not walking away to hurt them. You're walking away to heal you. You're walking away because you've finally learned that not every battle deserves your energy, not every connection deserves another chance, and not every situation needs a closing speech. Sometimes the closure is you choosing yourself. Sometimes the apology you wanted is the lesson you received instead. Sometimes the ending is the blessing. Walking away without drama means you don't react, you respond. You don't argue, you observe. You don't force, you release. You don't cling, you surrender. You don't collapse, you elevate. It means trusting the truth you feel in your body, even when your mind tries to negotiate it. It means allowing people to exit your life without grabbing onto their shadow. It means choosing the path that protects your energy, not the one that pleases your ego. And here's the part most people never realize. You don't lose when you walk away. You lose when you stay somewhere your spirit has already left. Every step you take away from what drains you is a step closer to what aligns with you. Every door you close peacefully prepares you for a door that opens beautifully. Every goodbye without chaos creates space for a new beginning without baggage. Walking away quietly is not about giving up. It's about rising up. It's about no longer matching the energy of hurtful behavior. It's about letting the universe remove what you were too loyal to release. It's about trusting that peace is worth more than any argument that tries to pull you back into your old self. So walk away without anger. Walk away without trying to prove your growth. Walk away without hoping they regret it. Walk away without needing them to realize what they lost. Just walk away. Clear, steady, unshaken. Because the moment you leave without drama, you step into a version of yourself that no longer settles, no longer chases, no longer entertains the emotional noise that once kept you small. You level up, quietly, powerfully, elegantly, and the world will feel the difference. This is how you reclaim your peace. This is how you reclaim your power. This is how you reclaim your life. When you finally choose to walk away without theatrics, that is the moment you stop surviving your story and start rewriting it. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe to Master from Within. Your growth begins here.